I am Super Mortgage Man. Good morning, all again. My name is Curt Kessler. I am, by day, a residential real estate lender with a company called Compass Mortgage. But really, the reason I'm speaking today is to talk about an organization called Real Estate to the Rescue of Homeless Animals. I'm the president of that organization, and just wanted to share with you what it is that we do in the Chicagoland area to help rescue animals. And really our main goal is to reduce the amount of euthanasia in Cook County and in the city of Chicago primarily, down at Chicago Animal Care and Control. Group started about 10 years ago, just 12 years ago now, just before the real estate crash from 06 to whatever, 9, 10, whatever you want to call it. When our founder, Susie Thomas, was volunteering down at CACC. And she quickly recognized that 80 to 90% of the animals that went into CACC never left. The good news is, in the last 10 years, with the help of rescue groups like RTTR and many, many others, that number has flip-flopped. It's now 90% live release, which is awesome in a city of our size. And it happens primarily because of the volunteers. The people that go to Animal Care and Control every day to help feed and walk and all of that. And then in the last 10 years, there's been a lot of rescue and foster organizations that have been born in the city. Interesting group, nonprofit called One Tail at a Time. A young lady who was a corporate attorney with one of the Dewey, Cheatham's and Howes of Chicago, quit her job, got that law firm to fund her for her first 2 years in business, which is, I think, a no-brainer for a big law firm to go, yeah, we'll write that check and have a feel good. But now they're pulling animals out of Animal Care and Control on a weekly basis and saving lives. So what RTTR really does now, and I'll back up one more time, during the downturn, we saw a huge number of animals left behind by homeowners and renters. When they were homeowners that were walking away from a property, getting foreclosed on, packing up in the middle of the night and moving to Florida, they couldn't afford their rent, their mortgage. Surely they couldn't afford dog food or cat food, and they just leave them behind. And then a week later, a landlord, a realtor, an attorney, somebody that was working on the property would show up, and there would be a dog or a cat or multiples. And we started getting phone calls about that stuff. Hey, Susie, I know that you're really into the foster and rescue thing. What do we do? So, we'd start making phone calls and find a home for that animal and try and keep it out of Animal Care and Control's hands so that it wouldn't get euthanized, or so that an animal that needed the care of CACC could go there. So now, fast forward to 2018, we've really become a fundraising organization, and we raise money just through events and memberships, and every penny goes to saving animals, primarily cats and dogs, and primarily dogs. Occasionally we've had rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, that kind of stuff. Those are easy things, right? Put up a Facebook post and somebody's got a kid that wants a guinea pig, and the parents call and swap the animals. But the coolest and most important rescue is what's return to owner, right? So we are currently spending about $5,000 a year on microchips and we bought all the equipment to chip and then also tag, collar animals, and we partner with a couple organizations to go into underserved, underprivileged neighborhoods in Chicago to microchip animals and give free health clinics to the dogs and cats. And it's amazing how many people show up for these things. And CACC charges a fee to return an animal to their owner, a couple $100. So if we can keep even that out of the hands of the owner, that's great. You know, a stray might be 6 blocks away and just can't find its way home. And if it ends up at a fire station or a police station and they have a scanner, they can call the owner right away and get it back to its owner. Right now, every police station has a scanner in the city of Chicago, but we've learned recently that they don't even necessarily know what drawer it's in. So we've started a campaign to make sure that every watch commander knows how to use it. Somebody in the building at all times knows how to use it and is willing to use it. For some reason, the fire department is much better at it. Maybe because they have more time and they're sitting around a lot. I don't know. They know who to contact, how to make it happen without going to animal care and control. Couple fun stories from the last year or so about what we do. We try to stay out of the actual physical rescue situation and just be a fundraising organization. And what we prefer to do is write a check directly for the care of the animal. So yesterday we wrote a check for $100 to a veterinarian to an animal that's on its way from CACC to a home but had to stop, get a checkup, get some vaccinations. So we wrote that check. Now, the city doesn't have to write that check and the foster organization doesn't have to. Every once in a while we get involved in an actual foster or rescue situation, usually more often with cats because a realtor or someone is willing to throw a couple kittens in a box and keep them in their car or their garage for a few nights. But last summer, a young lady that's on our board, who's a real estate agent, through social media got wind of an elderly dog that had been left on the steps of Swedish Covenant Hospital, like at their ER door. So somebody dropped it off there thinking that was the right place to go. Better there than nowhere, right? Than just letting it out the back door. So lo and behold, at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, that dog ended up in the back of my car. And we thought we had a foster, someone that had worked with elderly dogs in the past, who has a horse farm on 10 acres up in Round Lake somewhere. Perfect. 48 hours later, the lady's calling me, this dog needs to be put down. I can't handle it, this, that. So I'm driving back up there because I'm not ready for this dog to go down. In the time between me picking him up and dropping him off, I had him cleaned, we took him to the vet, we had him washed actually 3 times with a flea wash, and she didn't want to help, she couldn't care for him, so we got him back into the city to another rescue organization, and that organization has a storefront on Irving Park. A customer of that place who has fostered for them before said, I'll take him. And so he took the animal. We sent people over there almost every other day to help walk him and feed him. And he was the sweetest old guy you've ever met. Hank is his name. Mm-hmm. And so we created a social media following for Hank, And we believe that we gave him the best 3 months of his life, right? We let him go on his terms. He was just old and just passed away of natural causes, but better in the love and care of someone's home than, they call it fospice, foster hospice for animals. And it's a pretty sweet in a touching way thing to see, and have the ability to be part of that. Just yesterday, Susie, our founder, who now is back at CACC volunteering, she's actually volunteering in the cat room, which is, CACC has some new rules, so cats come and go from there quickly. They're quickly adopted, which is awesome, but that gives her time to spend with the dogs. And 2 dogs were brought in to be relinquished by their owner, and they wouldn't classify them as seniors, but they were middle-aged for sure. Both pit mixes, which is #1 in the city of Chicago. Susie noticed right away that they did not appear to be aggressive, and they were being relinquished because the owner said they were too aggressive. Well, if you know what commando crawling is on the ground, dogs do that as a play thing, and both of these dogs were doing that out in the play yard, crawling around, playing with each other, and an aggressive dog just wouldn't do that. They would be, standing at attention at all times. And they started to go, the dogs started, because of their environment, they started not eating and just kind of cowering in their cage. So Real Estate to the Rescue, along with an organization called Bark, found a foster organization that was willing to take both dogs together and get them out of there. And it cost us $100 a dog, and that's just food. All we did was pay for food. They're bigger dogs, mid-sized dogs, and they eat a lot. So for a foster to take that on their own is, asking a lot. But I just got willing to share the photos this morning if anybody wants to see them after I'm done. 2 of the sweetest dogs you've ever seen in your life, just sitting on their bed going, hi, can I have some more food? So that's the stuff that we do, and the goal is we want Chicago to be known as a no-kill city. There's always going to be proper euthanasia, for a dog that has cancer or got hit by a car and it has, just body has been decimated by broken bones or whatever. But just to kill because of inventory is what needs to go away. CACC has a new executive director about 6 months ago, and she's doing a bang-up job. Hopefully our new mayor keeps her. No reason not to. I actually had the luxury of sitting with Ms. Lightfoot before the election and discussing Chicago Animal Care and Control. She was honest. She said they have a dog, but it's not a rescue. That's okay. Their daughter is, who you may have seen in the TV commercials, she's allergic to dander, so they got a doodle. It's okay. She, was very honest and was like, look, I hear what you're doing, and it sounds like you guys are on the page that she is. It doesn't take just the city, it takes all hands on deck. We had about 24 animal welfare people in the room, all promoting the new executive director and say, please keep her. They're doing a great job down there, so hopefully that'll help. But she was, my joke is always that the budget for Chicago Animal Care and Control is a rounding error for the CTA, or Department of Transportation or whatever. And I'll close with a lot of people use the city of Houston as a good bellwether of what to do right, and their per capita budget is 4 times what the city of Chicago's is. And so when you set that side by side, they actually have more funding dollar for dollar than we do. They have more facilities, and we have 1.5 facilities, and we have space for 300 dogs in a city of 3 million people. So location is a terrible problem because of where CACC is. Sure, most of the strays are on the south side of the city, but volunteers don't want to go there. So to get a facility up on the north side or northwest side or west side would be awesome. We'll see how it all plays out. I'll close with an event that we have, our biggest fundraiser of the year, Friday, June 21st. It's a Cubs game. Tickets are $75, and that includes a ticket to the actual game and 2 drinks beforehand at a bar called the Deuce and Diamond Club, which has recently been renovated or turned into a pop-up bar called the Major League Bar. So when you walk in, it looks like baseball threw up. Really, really fun. They did a Santa baby pop-up bar there this winter, and it was the same thing. It looked like Christmas just went. So it should be a fun day. We're hopeful to have some adoptable dogs there that day. It's kind of tough during the week, because many of the dogs are out in the suburbs at people's homes that have yards and things. But price is $75. Every penny goes to saving animals. And yeah, take it to the game, couple drinks, silent auction, live auction, just a real fun time. There'll be about 400 people there. So any questions afterwards, please come see me if you want more information on anything. Don't hesitate to ask. Thanks. Questions? Whoa. This is rolling and he walked away.
What's the relationship like, or support look like from the CACC? Where's the support? How does CACC support? Or like what's
So how do they support us?
Yeah.
They love what we're doing. They recognize that they can't do it all, right? So they rely on groups like us. We just, in January, we donated 500 collars and leashes to CACC so that every dog and cat that leaves has a collar for the cats and a collar and a leash for the dogs. And they called a bunch of groups and they were like, right now we're sending them home with this rope thing that we just kind of string around their neck. And they just didn't have it in the budget because the budget was on hold because there was a new mayor coming, and we're like, here you go. So they love that stuff.
Talking about the Chicago place is like 27th and Western?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Mm-hmm. Basically pound, right?
Exactly, yeah. Chicago Animal Care and Control, also known as the Pound in some circles.
Did you say 300 dogs?
Mm-hmm.
And this is in Houston, or no?
No, City of Chicago has room for 300 and about 100 cats. And I don't know if you saw it recently, a couple months ago, they had a potbelly pig show up there. And that's an interesting one. People buy these mini pigs. A mini pig grows to about 200 pounds. Roosters. So in the city of Chicago, you can have up to 5 chickens, but no roosters. And people often don't know that they've gotten a rooster until they wake up. When the thing grows up and starts crowing at 5 a.m., they realize that they have a rooster and not a hen. So that's about it.
I think you're doing awesome work.
Thank you.
I have a rescue that